Here we go. Members only. There we go. Start getting you guys in there. Sheets. Where did I put them? Uh-oh, where did it go? I lost it. Oh, it's right here. Got one person there. If you can let me know if you can hear me, that would be great. Need a pen. Hey, Kathy. Oh my gosh, I look so disheveled today. It's been a long day. I've been working so hard. So we have Kathy is here. I like to mark down everybody that comes. Where are you? You're on this page. No? Hi, Becky. There's Kathy. Becky. Sounds good. Hi, Annie. That's okay. That's why these videos, you can watch them over and over. And if any of you need help, you can always message me as well. Hi, Dawn. Dawn. Annie. Becky, how are you coming along with your Betty? Are you needing a hand? I'm here if you need me. I will admit I didn't do any of my homework till about 3 hours ago, and I had to cut out the whole other bag to show the other way of doing the handles. Oh my gosh. Hi, Cheryl. Kathy wants to know if Dawn is going to Dallas. Oh, good. You're past the hard part. The lining goes so fast. Actually, the hard part more is the binding, but you got it. You missed not cutting with everyone. Class is definitely more fun. Dawn says, me? I wish. She's not going to Dallas. Oh, I blinded myself with the light. Hi, Lisa. Glad you could join us. Lisa's one of our new members. I'm so glad. What time is it where you are, Lisa? Yes, welcome, Lisa. You're going to love this group. There's such a wonderful group of people in this group. We have such a good time. So this is actually class 2, the exterior, or starting on the exterior. We did the cutting last class. Oh, I need to wake up. I only had 1 cup of coffee today. Oh, Becky, that's okay. You can catch up. You can watch. That's fine. Kathy, Orlando in November? I wish, Kathy, I'm not going. Unfortunately, I was planning on going to Sew Expo, but it falls on the same weekend as my biggest vendor market here, and that's like a $3,000 or $4,000 paycheck for me, so I can't not do it. I have to actually. I asked Lauren and Cassia to please tell them to change it to October. I don't think they got the power. But yeah, I'm hoping, maybe, I'm not going to promise anything. I'm going to maybe try to go to the one in Texas. Cheryl, where should we put our name tag? We will get to that when we start doing the exterior of the bag. We're not that far yet. I'm not too sure where I'm putting it just yet. So once we get our connectors and everything, then we will do it. Yes, Cheryl, I'm hoping I can go to Texas in February. I really got to move forward on getting my passport done. It expired about 5 years ago. I've actually never used a passport before. Last time I went down to the US was 2003, and we could go over just with our birth certificate and our driver's license at that time, but now we can't. So yeah. Okay, Lisa, so you're 2 hours ahead of me. Gotcha. And that's Tennessee. Is that what TN stands for? I really got to learn my US geography again. Canada, I'm great with. US, not so much. Hi, Karen. There you go. So if I go, Cheryl, we can meet in February. Oh, look, Annie and Lisa are both in Tennessee. See, we make friends everywhere. Maybe you guys are close to each other. Kathy says hello to everyone. Oh, I'm supposed to be marking down who's all in here. Let's see. We got Karen is here. Hi, Amy. Oh, here we go. Amy is one of our other new class members. Everybody welcome Amy. I got Dawn down, yeah. Hello, Michelle. That's good. It looks like we might get a really, really good class. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Jaded. Or Jade. I'm just going to call you Jade now. Yeah, to all the new people, you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love it. We've been having so much fun. It's a really good group. Again, we started last week. Last week was the cutting. You guys have access to that replay. I do have a playlist for that. Karen says hello, Amy. Ready to have some fun? Yeah, and you can always reach out to me. Annie says she's in Jackson, Tennessee. Lisa. See who else pops in. We'll give it well, it's not quite 4 yet, so Annie, Lisa says yes. So if you see me looking down, it's because the comments go off of my screen here really fast, and I have my computer right here. Becky says, what was our homework? I apologize, I don't know. Okay, so Becky, we cut out all the pieces last week. So the homework was, if you're using cotton fabric, you were to fuse your woven interfacing, and also to baste your foam on or fuse your foam on, depending if you were doing sew-in or not. And doing the straps and all that, but we're not going to touch the straps today. So if you didn't get that part done, that's fine. It was mainly just putting the stabilizer on the exterior pieces. Oh my goodness. Hi, Lauren. Lauren is another new member. Everybody welcome Lauren to our sew along. So happy to have you. Again, this is class 2. Okay, Becky, yeah, run and do that. Even don't worry about the straps, because the straps we don't put on till the end. So you can actually put that off if you wanted to. It's just basting the foam. I'm so excited we have new people. Everybody's so helpful. We're learning lots from each other as we go. Karen wants to know where Lauren is from. Annie says, hi, Lauren, welcome. See, everybody's so nice in this group. Amy's excited to meet everyone. So we got a really, really good group of people here. Lauren is from Dallas, Texas. If I seem a little sniffly, it's because the pollen has started flying here. My allergies are just going mayhem like crazy. So I'm feeling a little sneezy and sniffly. Okay. So for the new people, did you all go purchase the Annette handbag pattern from the Swoon website? That's where the pattern is. I think I've talked to most of you. Oh, Karen, did you order the NCW templates from So Clever? And did you use my discount code so you get 15% off? Oh, and the free corner template. I love it when they give me stuff to give you guys. It's fantastic. Okay, I'm going to read off who I have so far. If I missed you, please let me know. So far I have Kathy, Michelle, Karen, Annie, Becky, Cheryl, Jade, Melissa, Dawn, Amy, Lisa, and Lauren so far. Usually we have some that pop in when they get home from work, but did I miss anybody so far? Or is that everybody? Everybody's saying hi to each other. That's great. Oh, awesome, Karen. Okay, Lauren has everything cut out and ready to sew the foam to the exterior. I have all my straps ready to use. Okay, so yeah, Lauren, part of our homework was sewing the foam to the exterior. So we will be past that once we get started. If you want to quickly go and do that, or you can just watch and do it later. It's totally up to you. Today there will be a little bit of a lag between two things because we have some people doing the traditional connector that's in the pattern, which is the swoop. And then there's a request to show how to do connectors that isn't this. So I'm going to show you both. The other kind of connector I am showing you today is the hidden connector, which you can only do on a non-fraying fabric like vinyl. Hey, Erica. So I will show you how to do the hidden connectors today, as well as the smiley face connector. I just finished edge coating that, so it's still a little wet. Hi, Erica. Excellent. Did you actually wave at the screen? That's awesome. Hi. Hi, Kim. You got home from work in time, or are you at work still, Kim? I know you've been working hard. Your work's gotten in the way of your Betty. Oh, my goodness. Erica says, hi, Dawn. Kim says, and everyone. Becky says, hey, Brandy, I'm using vinyl for my front. Do I want to go ahead and put that foam on, or are we going to be attaching something that I need to put the foam on? The same with my vinyl sides. No, you want to put all the foam on right now because we will be putting our connectors through the foam. So we want the foam on them right away. Lauren says, I would like to watch for the first time. I'll complete the steps from classes 1 and 2. Absolutely. You can do this any way you want. And in between classes, you can always shoot me an email if you need a hand. Hi, Rebecca. Oh, goodness, we're going to have a nice full class today. Rebecca is here. I'm just going to give it another 5 minutes or so. Hi, Rhonda, as more and more people pop in. Hopefully we get some more in there. I just love that it's all the same names. I don't know. I think we have a really good group. I really, really do. And I'm so happy for the new people that joined. You're going to love it. I promise you. So today's class, we're going to be working on the exterior of the bag. Next week will be the lining, and then the following class will be putting it all together. So Elise says, I purchased the Annette pattern. I have not even printed it yet. Okay, so you're gonna watch and then do some work during the week then for next class. That is perfectly fine. Some of the class watches, some of the class goes ahead and does it with me. It's completely up to you. Melissa says, Brandy, is it okay if I use Decaville Heavy on the bottom, or do I need foam? Well, Melissa, you aren't using foam on any other part of the bag, correct? You're using Decaville Light. I actually have Peltex in the bottom with foam over top of that, but I have foam in the rest of the exterior of my bag. So it's completely up to you. If you're using Decaville Light, make sure it's out of the seam allowances if you're using that instead of foam. And at that point, I would just use the Decaville Heavy on the bottom because you don't want to have the squishiness of foam on the bottom and not be consistent with the rest of the bag. So if you are going to be doing that modification, then I would go ahead and just use the Decaville Heavy on it. Lauren Marino will be here in Dallas, Texas, June 11th and 12th for a workshop at Sunny's Sewing Center. I heard that. That is super exciting. I wish I could go. Okay, Melissa says, I'm using foam in the rest of the bag. I don't want to waste the Decibel light on a bag that doesn't necessarily need it. No, I would, if you have some Peltex or Decibel Heavy, you are going to want to put that in the bottom, or the bottom may sag. So you want that. In the pattern is the measurement that you cut for that bottom support, which is 11 by 4.5 inches. So you have that on, and then you have the foam over top of that. So I have it, it's in between the layers, but I used Peltex. But yes, you definitely need it in the bottom. You want it to be consistent throughout. Rhonda says, hi, Dawn, Jade, and Rebecca. Okay, so hopefully we'll see if anybody else pops in, but I think we will get started. So I have two different things here. These are two different bags. My foam is basted on. The foam goes on all of the main pieces, Kim. So you're going to want it on your two exterior pieces, your two side panels, not the pockets, just the side panels, and your bottom pieces. So it's only 5 pieces. Rhonda would love to go to Dallas. Do you know what? We should totally all meet in Dallas. I think we should do it. So yeah, just the 5 pieces, your bottom, your 2 main pieces, and your 2 side pieces. Does anybody need a little bit of time to quickly go and baste those on? It's really fast to baste them on. I've only brought the one panel from the other bag. This one here that I'm doing is cotton. This is the one that's actually going to be my tutorial for the Annette bag, but I wanted to be able to show you how we do the 2 different kinds of connectors. All right. Who's ready to get started? Are we ready? So it would be incredible, wouldn't it, Cheryl? I think it would be fun. We could be like the Beans Peeps Club. Melissa says, I'm not basting mine. I just finished cutting them out, so I'm going to baste mine. If I'm the only one to do that, don't keep going. Okay, go do it quickly and catch up. Alrighty. So for the new people, what I like to do, because I am in 2 separate rooms, not for long, because I'm moving to my new studio, I'm going to try to talk my husband in this weekend, but otherwise it'll be my long weekend. So we are going to do as much prep as we can at the table here. And then once we have everything that we can possibly prepare, then we'll go to the sewing machine and we will sew at that point. That way I'm not making you dizzy walking from room to room, doing one thing and then going and sewing and doing another thing, going and sewing. We're going to do all the prep work for everything we can. And then we're going to go to the other room and we'll do the sewing for everything. Hi, Lexi. Okay, Lexi is here. Sound good, everybody? Okay, so I'm going to bring you over. I apologize for the mess of everything. I've been working hard. I'm going to bring you guys down a little bit. Sorry for the close-up of my arm. Okay, so I can't see the comments on my phone, but I do have my computer here. Okay. Is this a good angle for everybody? Can you see what I am doing here before we get started? Oh my gosh, my station is so messy. Can everybody see everything okay here? We're going to work on this panel. Now, as you can see for my foam, I did not use fusible and keep it out of the seam allowance as per the pattern pieces. Okay, and Kathy's done already. Have we started yet? Because I have sew-in foam. So what I like to do is you can see how the foam gets a little bit thick here. Now, if you are on a domestic machine with a zigzag stitch, you could definitely go around and zigzag all this to condense that foam. I do not have that. Well, I do, but I don't want to set up the machine. But what I do is I go around my foam pieces and I just cut the foam just kind of at a 45-degree angle. I'm not cutting into the vinyl. I'm just kind of cutting this kind of at an angle like this. And you can see how it is going to reduce that bulk quite a bit. See, it's thinner here than there. I actually don't really have to worry about this because I'm on an industrial machine, but if you are on a domestic machine, you may want to just cut some of that bulk out of the way. So I'm going to do that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys one panel. So one main panel and how I do it. And then the second panel will be homework for next week, just so we don't run out of time. Okay. Okay. So that one's done. I am actually going to show the swoop connector first, because that is the standard in the pattern. And then I'll show you guys a modification to do, oops, the hidden connectors. I do have a tutorial on hidden connectors too, if you end up wanting to go and check that out later on, but I'm going to show you step by step how to do it here as well. Okay. So you can see how much foam I'm cutting off out of the bulk there, hey? Now, if you followed the pattern pieces, they had a different pattern piece for foam, just that would have it outside of the seam allowances. But again, I don't use fusible, so this is the way I do it. Alrighty, so I'm going to take my pattern piece here, and I'm going to grab, you can see the shape here from the, for the handle connector placement. I'm going to take my cutter and I'm just going to cut along that top line, that whole 1 inch right there. And then I'm just going to kind of do some dotted lines. So you probably don't even really need to do this part. We really just need, that's if you want to draw it, really just need to know this placement mark right here, right along the top. So I like to cut a little hole there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my centers here. So fold it in half and make a little snip on the top and on the bottom. That will be very helpful later. I usually forget to do this. Okay. And I'm going to take my marking pen. I'm just using the Soline Air Erasing one because I am using cotton here. And I'm lining this up with my center mark and all along the edges. And right where that 1 inch line was right here, I'm going to just take my pen and mark that. Now, if you wanted to, through all the slots for doing the swoop, you could go in and mark it, but I think it's going to fall in place when we put these on, so we'll be fine. Okay, so I got that mark there. I'm going to flip it over and do the same on the other side here. Now, if you're doing a connector that isn't a hidden connector, this is where you are going to place the fold of your connectors right along that line. Now, where did I put my, okay. So here's my swoopy connector. Now, what we want to do is take some double-sided tape, or you can use clips. I'm going to use my skinnier tape. And these little flaps here, we're going to be folding them into the center. So I'm going to take some tape. Oh no, Kim, go ahead and make some more bobbins. There's time. We won't be sewing for a minute here, so. Oops, look, I didn't cut my corner off of this one. So this is for what is in the pattern. This is doing the vinyl connector. I really, for this pattern, would not recommend doing a cotton connector because I just don't think it's going to have the strength to hold the weight. I've always only done the vinyl connectors on this, so I strongly recommend that. Okay, so I'm going to take my double-sided tape. And we're going to fold it in as far as it can go right here. Should almost go with our corners that we have cut. Not quite there yet. Okay. And fold this one in. So you can see how I'm just kind of making it so it's a straight line. And this should measure 1 inch, which it does. Do the same with the other side. Stop me if there's any questions. And then once we finish this, I will show you how to do the other option of a hidden connector. Make sure that's 1 inch, which it is, so that is good. I'm just going to double check one thing quickly. Okay. I'm just trying to see how far I am sliding these down. Okay. So then I'm going to draw on my ruler and grab my two, not my D-rings. I got to grab my rectangular rings. I will be right back. Sorry. And of course I didn't grab my rectangular rings. I am obviously not prepared, so I gotta find my rectangular rings quickly for this. So while you guys are working on that, I will grab my rectangular rings. They're not in that one. Lisa says, I watched the hidden connector video today. Great video, very helpful. I made the Corolla bag today. Oh, that is a fun one. Oh, John, you like this fabric? I got it from Fabricland. It was in a clearance bin. I just love it when it's cheap. Ooh, do I got stuff sitting on top of here? Like, I better have gold rectangular rings. I don't believe I didn't bring them out. I do. Okay. That's good. Thank goodness. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So is everybody to this point where they're all folded in who are doing the happy face connectors? I know the majority of people are doing the different kind of connectors. So, hi, Lise. You're fine. You're not too late. I'll just mark you down here. Lise. Perfect. I call it the happy face because it looks like a happy face. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So now what we want to do is on these connectors here, we want to measure down 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to mark it with some chalk on both sides. Okay, and then on the back of this, and very important, if you are using a domestic machine that does not like double-sided tape, make sure you keep the double-sided tape outside of the seam allowances. You could also use fabric glue or what have you. I just really do prefer to use tape. We all know this. It is not a secret. And we are going to want to put it high enough that it's going to be able to catch. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just put it a little bit across the top of each of these. Probably don't need to be using this incredibly thick double tape, but I am. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our rectangular ring, remove that double-sided tape from the top, and we are going to fold it right where that 3/4 of an inch mark was there, if you can see that. And you want to fold it down nice and even so it doesn't show on either side here, like so. Same with the other side. So again, I'm taking it, the place where my weld is, I'm making sure is on the wrong side, and I'm folding it down and around the rectangular ring right along that 3/4 inch line, like so. Oops, I got foam everywhere. My station is a mess. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to take just a little more double-sided tape on the back here, put it down these sides. I definitely don't want this to shift when we're top stitching this in place. And you can see how my tape is staying outside of the seam allowances here. So that is what we want. Okay, and then what I am going to do, oh, we'll probably go right up against it. I'm trying to remember the last time I did these rings. It was a little bit different, like it was a long time ago. Okay, is everybody there? Are we ready for the next step? I don't want to be moving too fast, so please let me know if I'm moving too fast. But I do know the majority of you are not doing this method, so, but some of you are, so I want to make sure I showed you. This is the method I will be showing on my tutorial on the public side. I will be doing it as per the pattern. Everybody good? Okay, Lise, that sounds good. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is these. I'm going to take off the left side here, and I'm going to line right where this fold is, right up with that line that we drew right here, like so. Nice and straight. Then I'm going to do, ooh, Alexa's doing something weird to me here. Same with the other side. Line up this fold. So I haven't done the double-sided tape on the back here. Line up this fold with that other line, like so. Okay. Then we're going to flip this up, take off this tape, and you're just going to let this fall where it wants to fall. And it's going to fall exactly where we need it to. I promise you. Just like that. And then we are going to take this to the machine. I am going to end up putting my right zipper foot on here so I can get nice and close to the hardware, and we're going to top stitch along all these. But we will put this aside for now so I can show you how to prep the connectors for the hidden connector version. So yes, if this is how you're doing this, you know what? I'm a little bit off here. I got to fix it. So one thing with double-sided tape is you can always pick it up and put it on. So if you're doing this version, go ahead and do the same thing with the other side. I'm only going to show the one side today of how to do this, but if you are doing it this way, go ahead and do the other while I show the next part that we are doing here. Okay, so for the hidden connectors, again, we have our little slot right here, okay? I'm going to find my centers. Oh, first I'm going to trim my foam away. I don't think I did it on here. I think I did on the other one. Everybody's quiet today. Either you're sewing or what have you. Feel free to chat. Okay. There's Coco. So now I'm going to take a marking pen. I'm going to use my Tandy leather pen because this is vinyl here. Again, we have our, oh, first I want to mark my centers. Again, I always forget to do this. You guys should yell at me when we cut out this pieces. You just say, Brandy, mark your centers. And then I won't forget. Okay. Lay your pattern piece down, line it up with the center and along the sides. And again, because I'm using vinyl, I'm using my Tandy leather pen that washes away, and I'm just drawing that 1-inch line across there. Sorry if you see my hair there. So you can see it there. Again on the other side here. Now this is the scary part. Now you can, again, only heavy duty concentration it is, I swear. Okay, so right on that line in the middle, I just take my rotary blade and I just cut it like that. I don't go too far. We only want this to be 1 inch long, this cut. So then I take my scissors and I go the rest of the way. This way we'll have a raw edge here, just so you know. So again, cut it and just push it down a little bit. You don't want to go too far. That one almost went all the way, so that's good. So you will do this with the other panel as well. I'm just doing it with the one. Now what we want to do is we want to flip this over and we want to cut away some of this foam. So you can see, you can pull the foam away. If you haven't used a fusible foam, that is. You could definitely leave the foam here. It just makes it less bulky if you can cut some away. So I'm sticking my scissors in that hole, but not through the vinyl, just through the hole of the foam in between the layers. And I'm just going to do a rough cut to cut the foam away a little bit, just to reduce some of the bulk for when we do the connectors. See where your slit is there? Mine's right there. Said hidden connectors is a little more of an advanced technique, but it's actually super easy to do. Okay, so that's how much of a square I cut away. You can see my 1 inch slit right there. How big is that? About 1 3/4 by about 1.5, but it doesn't have to be exactly those sides. Okay, Becky, so you folded over the pattern piece and used the flat edge dotted line for that line. Yes, so I cut a little slit in this line so I could just draw what that line is. Now, this is if you're doing invisible connectors. If you're doing connectors, like say the Aster bag connector, you would just draw that line just like we did with this one and just place your connector right where it is. This is if you're doing the invisible connector, because the connector is going to go in and we're not going to have it showing on the outside. So say you just have a different shaped connector. You didn't want the smiley face. You would do it exactly how we did this one, where we just drew the line and then you're going to tape them on. You're not going to be cutting anything. Okay. This is just for the hidden connector method. Make sense? So I'm using this along this dotted line, the very top here, Becky. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, no, I'm going to do the hidden ones like you. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right here. So at the very top of this dotted line, you understand what I'm doing? So you're going to do it exactly like me, where you're doing the scary thing of cutting the vinyl. Okay. Okay, don't doubt yourself. You're all good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut away some of this foam. Again, make sure you're not cutting away your vinyl in the back. And this is just going to remove some of that bulk. I love hidden connectors when you don't want to take away anything from the gorgeous vinyl on the outside, which I definitely don't with this Mormino vinyl. I just feel so fortunate that I actually have it. All right, so I got my 2 holes. You'd only want them to be about 1 inch, so even if they're slightly smaller, we can make them bigger later. You just don't want to go over that. Okay, so we can set that aside for a moment and grab, when I find them, I'll let you guys catch up. 1, 2. Okay, and then we're going to prep the connectors for it. So let me know when you want me to move on. I'll give you guys a little bit of a moment to absorb that. And then we will move to the next. Am I going at an okay pace? Is this working for everybody? Shout out if I'm going too fast, too slow, what have you. I'll take a drink break. Good pace. Okay, perfect. So I'll give it another couple minutes just so if anybody is kind of fast. Okay, Becky, go ahead. Whereabouts are you at? Ask questions so I can explain. If I don't see anything, I assume everything is going good. Cheryl is ready and done. Perfect. So I'm actually just going to show 2 connectors. I'm only going to be doing the one side of the bag with you guys. Just got done cutting the foam. You're ready? Okay, are we good to move on, everyone? How are the new ladies doing? We okay? I think most of you are just watching. So Becky. Okay, Lauren, you're okay? Okay, perfect. See, Becky, you weren't too far behind. Not at all. Lexi is done. We'll give it another couple minutes here. Oh, I'm trying to stab myself with that. I will get my hardware ready while I wait. Becky, woo! Do you know what, Becky? Is this your first time, Becky, doing hidden connectors? Because you are going to love this so much that you're going to want to do them on everything. Kim will catch up, okay? Yeah, Becky, you will. Guaranteed. We'll give it another minute or so, and then we will move on. Again, if you fall behind from what we're doing here, if I end up being a little bit too fast, no, you can always go back and rewatch. And I am always available via Messenger on Facebook, or you can shoot me an email. I'm always here to help. For some of you, I know that you've had help during the week, and we've actually done some little mini videos for you, or some mini FaceTime, like little private lessons. So I'm always willing to do that for you too. I'm 100% here for you during the week when you finish everything up. I seriously drop everything to help you. Okay, so let's prepare these connectors. So if when we cut last week, if you're doing the hidden connectors, these are the ones I said to do 2 to 4 inches. These are the Brandy way of doing it. This part is not in the pattern. So I've gone ahead. Remember, we drew our 1-inch line on the back side of these to mark our center. Again, I'm going to use double-sided tape. Double-sided tape will be okay here for people with domestic machines too, because you're really not going to get it into the seam allowance. And I kind of really strongly recommend the double-sided tape for the hidden connectors because you really need it to stay in place. So you're going to put it along the long sides here. And just like any connector that we usually do, we're going to go ahead and fold those long sides into that center line. So that's one done. Actually, we're not going to use these yet. I guess we could. Okay, so again, I'm only doing 2 because I'm only showing the one side of the bag here today. The other side will be homework. So in our bin, so I have my bin here going of stuff that we need to take to the machine to sew. This is how I do all my bags. I always do all my prep work, everything that I can prep I possibly can at the table, and then I take it over to the machine. So you can go ahead and put those in there as well as 2 of the rectangular rings that you're going to need. and your external piece that you've cut your holes into. So we can set those aside for now. And then we are going to prep our side pieces. So Lisa says, I am slow as Christmas. Maybe one day I'll be able to sew with the group. You will be able to sew with the group, Lisa. I know it. You'll get more and more confident, trust me, and you'll be able to do it. So I'm only going to do, I think I have to do both sides. We'll be doing both sides today for this. While I wait for everybody else, let me know they're done. I'm going to go ahead and just trim up my foam around the exterior of this because I did not do it beforehand. And Lisa, as I said, when you are working on it during the week, feel free to message me on Facebook, or I can write my email here. So you can always email me as well if you aren't on Facebook. And I can help you along. Beans, bags, and I have such a long email. I'm sorry. So yes, I am here for you during the week, whatever you need. Oh, good. Amy, are you doing, what kind of anchor, or what kind of connectors are you doing? Are you doing the smiley, or are you taking it from another bag, or are you doing, curious just to know. Now for the new people as well, on my Facebook group page, I'm going to link that as well. I have a bag makers page. I don't know if you're part of it or not. But I have set up a subgroup that is for the Annette handbag, and it's where you can post anything during the week, ask questions if you have any questions so the group can help you. So this is my Facebook bag makers group here. And then if you look at the top where it says subgroups on that page, you'll see the Annette subgroup, and you can go in there, and that's where you can post anything that has to do with this class. You're doing So Sweetness purse connectors. Awesome, Karen. So you'll be doing it just like placement, just like we did with this one, except for different connectors, of course. So you'll be matching it up to those lines. Lisa, you're learning a lot just watching. Amazing. Okay. So I am just going to refresh myself while everybody catches up there. So usually I would have done a, whatchamacallit, a tutorial bag. So I would have been refreshed already, but this is my tutorial bag. So I haven't done the tutorial yet because I wanted to be able to show you guys how to do this. This is doing wedgie strap connectors. I don't know what I care. Oh, is it the metal connectors? The diamond connectors, I think they're called, Melissa, what you're doing. Okay. All right, I got this. Okay. Oh, okay. So Kathy is using the Louise barrel bag connector. I just love it that we can take all of these different patterns and we can kind of Franken pattern them together to give it a really unique look. So I'm really excited to see what everybody's does. 1 inch or 1/2 inch center line. Which are you talking about? For which center line, Amy, are you talking about? Are you talking about where we're putting these connectors through? Or I'm just using the Aster bag connectors. I'm not sure I understand what you're asking, Amy. Oh, are you talking about the hidden connectors? These here? If so, it's a 1-inch center line because our piece is 2 inches. So these are 2 inches by 4 inches. I actually grabbed the wrong connectors. I always feel like I should sing a song. I could put that song in Dawn's head again. Sing, sing a song. Make it happy, make it long. I don't even know if that's the words. Dawn, so I'm sorry, Dawn, too late. I've already done it. How's everybody making out? Did you figure it out, Amy? Let me know if I can help in any way. Anna is not here yet. Her birthday is tomorrow. I know she is working. So sometimes she has to work late. For the connectors, you are going to use your pattern piece, Melissa. So you are going to cut along the dotted line at the top of where the smiley is. You are going to lay it down centered like so, and you are going to draw that line with an erasable pen. I guess if you were to measure it, it is 1 inch over and 1.5 inches down, correct? If you want to do it that way. So you'd measure 1.5 inches down and 1.5 inches in, and you would draw it there. But I find it a lot easier to use the pattern piece, and then you know it is correct. Diamond strap connectors from Emmeline. Oh, yes, I did, Amy. Okay, so you understand. Okay, so for that one, so the top of the diamond connector on yours, Amy, you are going to put right along the top of that line that you just drew. That's what I would do. Does that make sense? Okay, Cheryl's ready. So yeah, that's what I would do for the placement, is right where we drew this line here. That's where I'd put, because the diamond connector kind of goes across and down and up. I put the top of it right along there is what I would do. And really, when you're doing your own connectors, you just want to make sure they're going to be uniform on the front and back. If they're off by a little bit, it's better to be off into the middle than the side, of course, because we're going to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance here. So you can see how close that's going to come to the connector. So does that make sense? Are we good to move on? I lost my other little connectors. Where'd they go? There they are. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to take our cross. Okay, wait, Melissa. Oh boy, these are going to take a while. This is some sturdy hardware that comes with these, so don't wait for me. I'm going to take a while. There's a lot of screws that go in these. Yes. Oh, Melissa, I'm trying to remember. Maybe you're not doing the diamond connectors. Are you doing the Long John connectors? The big, long silver ones? They're intense. Make sure you put Decaville Heavy in behind the screws on the back side, just to make sure it doesn't pull through your fabric later, because they are very heavy. Okay, so we're going to take our cross-braided connectors, and we're going to do the same as what we did with our other connectors. So you're going to go ahead and use some double-sided tape along the long sides. The straps you had just put in your basket. The straps, oh, this one here. Or the hidden connectors. I'm so confused. Oh, let me see what Melissa's using. Oh, yes, I remember Melissa. Yeah, I've never used those connectors before, so. I see, yeah. So you'll have to figure that one out. I've never used those ones before, but as long as your placement is right. Okay, so you're going to take these long sides and you're going to fold them down into the center. These are, Cheryl, 2 inches by 5 inches. Amy, there will be a leg for sure. I think you get it after me. So just tell me if I've answered all your questions. There's always a leg with YouTube, unfortunately. I think it's like, do you know what? I'm trying to count on my computer here. I'm gonna count my leg here. Okay. I only have about 5 seconds a leg, but okay. I will slow down a little bit and wait for everybody to catch up that is sewing along to there to the best that they can. We'll give it probably 3 or 4 minutes. So let me know when you're ready to move on. For all my new people, how are you liking it so far? I said it's just like a tutorial, but it's real time and slowed down, because my tutorials, I managed to get them all within half hour to 45 minutes, and it's in fast motion, of course. But yeah, this is you are always able to stop me and say, like, as you saw, Amy was having some questions, and Becky said I was moving too fast. You guys set the pace of the class. We do only have 2 hours to do this. Sometimes we go a little bit over, but I mean, my husband gets home at 6 and my house gets loud, so I try to keep it in that time slot. So, but it's not a big deal if we don't get the whole exterior done today. That's okay. The lining is next week, which is super easy, which is usually a shorter class. So it just means we go into that. So it's up to you guys. We set the pace. Yeah, I said right now we have 18 people in class, which is amazing. We do have 30 class members. Many are probably at work and they like to watch the replay. But yeah, okay, Becky is ready. Perfect. Lauren, I'm glad you love it. So glad you love it. And for all the new people, were you able to find the past member videos? Did they come up in your feeds on YouTube? They will be in the playlist under members or beg of the months and that kind of thing. Dawn says, but that's why we get homework, which is fine because you're always there to answer questions in between classes. I absolutely am here for you in between classes. Absolutely. As many of you already know. Again, if you need a visual, I will FaceTime with you through Facebook or what have you, and do a mini tutorial or walk you through it, or through email or through messaging, and also use our subgroup for the Annette in there, because your peers can help you if you're stuck as well, and also to share your progress if you're excited. The ones you put the double-sided tape on, what's the measurement of the line in the middle? Oh, these it's 1 inch, so they were 2 inches by 4 inches. And the line in the middle is exactly in the middle of the 2 inches, so 1 inches. And what that does is it gives you a 1 inch strap. Yeah, Amy, I know messages are delayed. You gotta love the internet. So that's okay. You just have to just ask as we go and I will stop. No problem. Miss Coco is being very quiet today. I just gotta answer this. We'll look after my class. Okay. Do we need D-rings for these two on the sides? Yes, we do. 2 D-rings. Now, if you don't want a crossbody strap, you do not need to add this part. It's completely up to you. A good idea. I should pull out my D-rings. Let's make sure I have D-rings. Oh, look it. I didn't pull out D-rings. Oh my gosh, I am so not prepared. Let me grab my D-rings while we wait. Oh, Lisa, you want to order the green bean vinyl? It is my favorite, and I'm so touched that Anna named it after me. My fave color. This is how I store all my hardware. If you guys didn't know, I'm sure you all know already. There's Coco. Okay, she's going to do the little howl because I think my youngest son just got home from work. So she may be loud for a minute. Hello, Brady. I'm live. Awesome. Oh, I don't know. I just did not pull the right amount of my hardware out for anything. All right, so we're ready to move on then, guys. So so we folded it into the centers. We have these. So now we should have 1 inch by 5 inches ish that these should measure. We're going to flip them over to the wrong side. I'm going to take some double-sided tape. Again, keep this in the center if you're using double-sided tape so it does not get in the seam allowances for where we're going to top stitch if you are using a domestic machine. My machine just goes right on through it, so I never worry. Okay, I didn't need to cut that much, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our D-ring. You're going to put it over. I'm taking mine down. I'm trying to guess here. About, I guess I can measure about 1.5 inches or so. I'm just eyeballing it. And take your tape off. And you want to make sure that the D-ring is kind of away from the double-sided tape because we're going to go across here. I use a size 18 needle on my domestic machine. When I was on my, not my domestic machine, my industrial machines, when I was on a domestic, I used a Microtex. Okay, so then you're going to fold this over like so. Okay, and then you're going to take the bottom and you're going to fold it up like so. So my bottom fold is about 1 inch and my top fold is about 1.5 inches. So now this measures approximately from the fold to the bottom 2.5 inches-ish. And you'll want to do that with both of them. Kathy likes green because it's the same color as money. That's funny. Okay. And make sure they're approximately the same size. Guys, let me know when you're ready to move on. Now Benny is barking. How's everyone making out? I really wish there was a way that we could hear voices on this. That would be really good. All you get to hear is my voice. Okay, Becky is done. Hard to believe we've already an hour in. Time just flies. Karen is done. We'll give it another couple minutes for everybody else. So yeah, I think next class will be, oh wait, Dawn, will you be using rivets on the side connectors, Brandy? I should search some out if you are. Yes, I will use rivets always. I will be using rivets on the front, and I will be on the front connectors, and I will be using rivets on the side connectors. So this class, I think what we will get done is we will get the front panels done, the side panels done, our connectors done. And then the homework will be the other side with their connectors done. Amy, did I do something wrong? My strap connectors measure. Okay. No, that Amy, that is fine. I only had 1 inch hardware. That's why I did it by 2. So if you have 3/4 inch hardware, that's what you're going to be using is 3/4 inch D-rings. I apologize. So you would be measuring your center. Mine would be 3/4 of an inch. I am so sorry. So yeah, the front of the bag is 1 inch hardware, but the connectors are 3/4 inch hardware. So if you have 3/4 inch hardware, definitely use that. Otherwise, cut your pieces to what I did for 2 to 5 to use 1 inch hardware. Oh, Becky, 105 heat index. That's Fahrenheit. That's super hot, isn't it? I only know Celsius, but I know that's hot. Lisa has an industrial machine. When I use size 18 needles, sometimes the holes in the vinyl seem large. Is that because of the size of the needle I am using? What size of thread are you using, Lisa? Are you using a Tech 70 thread? Yeah, sorry about that, Amy and Dawn. I should have specified that's why I was cutting them bigger. My bad. Okay. Kathy, you already attached your side connectors? You overachiever, you. Oh, look it. I didn't finish my lemonade from this morning. We're not even there yet. Becky, yes, I melted like a witch on Oz. Oh my goodness. So yes, so Amy and Dawn, you'll measure your center line will be 3/4 of an inch into the center, and you'll be using 3/4 inch D-rings. I always make mine to 1 inch D-rings because that is what I always have in stock is my 1 inch. That's my go-to. So yeah. Okay, so Amy and Dawn, let me know when you are ready and we will move on. Kim, after the 1 inch cut, it's just a rough estimate. I think this way was about 1.5 and this way was about, or this was about 1.5 or whatever, but you can see mine are completely different sizes. As long as you have some free and clear above and below, it's an approximation. Okay, Dawn is ready. How are you doing, Amy? Okay, Lisa, for an industrial machine, you're going to want to move up to a Tex 70 thread. A Tex 45 is too small. I think the Tex 45, and everyone with a domestic, please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's a domestic machine size thread. But yeah, I think the smallest for industrial I would use is a Tex 70, and you can go all the way up. Tex 90 makes a wonderful top stitch, but primarily I use a Tex 70 thread with a size 18 needle. If you're using the Tex 45, I would go down, maybe try a smaller needle size, but I think Tex 45 thread is more for domestic machines. Okay, so Karen uses it on her Janome HD9, which is a heavy duty machine. That's similar to the Juki 2010Q. So it's like in between a domestic and a industrial machine. It's a heavy duty machine. If that helps, I hope that's helpful. Okay, Karen says a 90-14 needle with the 45, but I don't think you can get that size of needle on a, like the sizing for a industrial machine for needles is way different than the domestic or heavy duty machines. So Karen says a 90-14 needle is with the Tex 45. So if you're on an industrial, yeah, Lisa, what kind of machine do you have? Out of curiosity. Sorry about that, Amy. See, I always just assume everybody can be in my brain and know what I'm thinking. I apologize. Glad we could clear that up. My bad. Okay, so we are going to move on. So we're going to take our side pieces, and while we're here, we are going to find the center bottoms on just the curvy sides. That'll help us next class when we go to put the exterior the rest of the way together. So I'm just going to make a snip. Do that on both. Don't really need it now, but it's just easier to do it now rather than later. Okay. So now what we want to do, I'm going to take a little more tape. Again, keep it out of the seam allowances. I'm going to just stick it over top like this. Now from this little V part on our side pieces here, I'm going to take my 1 inch, well, it's because you want to do it centered with that. Now my connectors are 1 inch, so I know that 1/2 inch mark is my center, so I'm just using that as my guide. And I'm measuring down 1 1/4 inches, keeping it nice and centered. I'm going to take my chalk and I'm going to draw a line, and that is going to show me the placement of my connectors. So I'm going to take my tape off, and I'm going to put the fold right where my D-ring is, right along that line, and stick it down, and then it's nice and centered. And then after I've done that, I'm going to take my ruler, sorry about Coco, and measure 1 inch down from that fold, like so. And that is just going to be a guide for stitching. So you want to make sure, I know this confused everybody last class when I did this for some, or was it this class? I don't remember. So where this line is, you want to make sure, because we're going to be sewing up here, around here, and down. You just want to make sure that you're catching this part of the fold. You can see where this fold is here. So my 1 inch line is there, so I will be catching it. If it was up here, because we're not stitching up there, I wouldn't catch it. So does that make sense? What is the measurement of the top and bottom of the connector strap? Like this way is 1.5 inches from here to here. Once it's all finished, from the fold to the bottom. but it doesn't have to be exact. 1¼ inches down, yeah. And then that is where you're going to place the fold right here. So there's my 1¼ line there, and it's there. Thank you, Dawn, for helping. Yeah, they'll be 3/4 inch wide by 2.5-ish inches. Okay, so you got that line there, and you're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with the other one. Oops, I forgot my tape. Oh, Lisa has a Jack A4. Nice. I've heard a couple people have Jack. Anna, who's in this group, has a Jack as well. I will be riveting above my sew line here and down here as well. If you aren't doing rivets, you're going to want to go as close to the hardware as you can. Thank you, Karen, for bringing that up. I just automatically assume everybody's going to do rivets like me. Okay. I strongly recommend rivets just because it just makes it a lot more stable, especially when there's going to be weight on it. It's 1¼ from the V center. Yeah. So right from this thing down. So from here to this line is 1¼ inches. See, 1¼ inches. And it also specifies that in the pattern, if you need to go back and look, it gives you a really good visual of that in the pattern. As you can see, 1.25 inches down. And you can see in the pattern, they actually stitch right up to the hardware because they don't do the rivets, but I do rivets. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, Benny is moving my camera. That's fine, Dawn, for the connectors. I said for connectors, you can make it your own no matter what. There's really no wrong way of doing it. Sorry, my camera moved because Benny came and he bumped the camera, my tripod here. Okay, so once we have that, we can put those aside for now. And when you are all ready, we will move to the next part. And then after this next part, we are going to be able to go ahead and move to the machine. Kim, what about the connector? Which connector? The connector is sitting right at that 1.25 mark. So this folded mark here. Okay, if it'll catch the second fold when we go down and around. If it's not going to catch this first one, you're going to want to move your drawing line higher depending what it is. So that'll catch the first fold. We'll go across here. If you think when we're sewing, we're going to go across here. It's going to catch this fold here. We're going to go down this side and it's going to catch this other fold and across the bottom and up. So it'll catch both of those folds in. Because we won't be sewing above this 1-inch line if you're doing it like me. If you aren't doing rivets, you're going to want to sew it as close as you possibly can to the hardware. Benny, stop moving. Stop. Move, dog. Where do you sew the connector? We were going to take it to the machine. And Benny, go. He's moving my camera. Go. We are going to be sewing across this 1-inch line. Down, across, and up again. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not confusing everybody. You'll see when we take it to the machine. Does that make sense, Kim? One inch down from the vinyl top of the connector, yes. Doesn't have to necessarily be 1 inch down. You can actually sew it wherever you want. My preference is 1 inch down as long as it's catching both of those folds. And then I'm going to be putting a rivet here and here once it's sewn. No, that's okay, Kim. Oh, I see what Dawn's saying. So from that point to fold, oh no, mine ends up being more than that. But one inch, yeah, 1 inch done. So from this fold to here is 1 inch on the connector. If you're going from that diamond point, it's going to be about, let me see, 2 1/4-ish inches from this corner. Okay, so we're good. Is everybody good to move on, or do we need a few more minutes? Okay, Cheryl's ready. Karen is ready. Kim is ready. Yay! Okay. So now we are going to work on our side pockets. This is the last thing we need to do for prep here. So we have our exteriors and our liners. Dawn, oh, Kim, it says in the pattern that it's 1 1/4 inch down from the point to the fold of your connector. Is that what you meant? Okay. I think we got it all figured out now, Dawn. I think we're okay. So we're going to take an exterior pocket and a lining pocket. So these are the side pockets. This part of the pattern right here we're working on right now. Okay. We are going to put them right sides together and clip around that top side. Okay, and then you can put that in your sewing basket and do the same with the other one. So right sides together. Look how bad I cut that, but it's going to get caught in the seam, so it's okay. Terrible. Hi, Anna. Better late than never. There's Anna, everybody. I know everybody wanted to wish her a happy birthday tomorrow, so you can go ahead and she's here now. Yay. And for our 3 new members, Anna is the owner of Galaxy Customs Vinyls. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask her. All right. So while I wait for everybody to get to this point, I'm going to move over to my machine because now we are sewing machine ready. Annie says, hi, Anna. Happy birthday tomorrow. Okay. Hello. Okay, look at my disaster. Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. Okay. Oh, it's going to be so much better when I'm in my new room. Because I don't fit through things. It's just so small. Okay, so while we're waiting, I'm going to get my chat up on this computer and I will get this looking at my machine here. Yay. Okay. Bear with me here. You're going to see my head for a moment. I apologize. I just got to get this so I can see your chats on here. There we go. Becky says, happy birthday, Anna. Amy says, happy birthday. Kim's happy birthday. Karen, happy birthday. Okay, whoops. That doesn't look like a good angle. So let me adjust this. Bring you guys down a little. There's my new sticker from Anna that says, "Oh, Coco." Okay, is this a good angle? Can everybody see everything okay here? Kim says, "Anna, I love my vinyl. I wish shipping wasn't so much." Oh, Canada Post is terrible. It's, we all wish shipping wasn't so much. But it's worth it for Anna's vinyl. Trust me. Trust me, trust me. Okay. That's my completion bucket. What the heck is going on here? Cheryl says, happy. Everybody's just giving her great wishes. Again, for those who didn't catch my live earlier, just to give Galaxy Customs a little plug. As you can see, I am wearing her t-shirt today. She does have a 13% off sale tomorrow. No coupon code necessary. And every order that's placed in May gets entered into a draw for a mystery box. Kim, it is totally worth it, isn't it? We all hate paying shipping, but we do it because we want pretty things. All right. You guys let me know when you're ready. You're welcome, Anna. I love your stuff and I need you to be successful, so you are always here to give us such amazing product. Lauren, for sewing, I use a 4, and for my top stitch, I use a 5.5 on my industrial machine. Yay, Lise. Wow, you did really well because you came in late. Good job, Lise. Lise, what kind of connector are you doing? Are you doing the smiley face, or are you doing a connector from a different pattern, or are you doing the connector like I'm the hidden connector? Now I'm going to do the smiley face connector last because I'm going to have to change out my foot. Oh, Lauren has a Juki DU 1181N. Oh, yes, nice. Just like Lauren, or Lauren Mormino. That's awesome. Lisa's doing the smiley. Awesome. Okay, how's everybody making up? Are we ready to sew? I know Kathy has already gone and done her sewing because she's a keener. That's awesome. Again, if you know what you're doing, go ahead and skip ahead. I said we're not going to get the whole exterior together this class because it shows a little bit just to show the connectors. Next class, the first half of the class, will be putting together the rest of the exterior. And then the second half, excuse me, we'll be doing the lining. I have the hiccups. Oh my goodness. Okay, Dawn is ready. Karen is ready. We will give it 1 minute more here and then we will move on. Rhonda is ready. Kathy says, happy birthday, Anna. Kim, that's the same machine I have, the 1181. Oh, and Anna, we have a new member, Lisa, who has a Jack A4. I know you have a Jack. What kind of Jack do you have? Annie has a 1181. Said I have a 1541 and a 1341 because I'm super spoiled. Becky's ready. Okay, so we're going to start from the top of the pile. We have our side pocket pieces here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to sew along the top curvy part with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Hear how squeaky my Tiffany is? So go ahead and do that. Anna has a Jack F4 straight stitch and a Jack 6380 walking foot. Kathy, you're way ahead of us. I will be adding connectors and showing the placement of them when we go back to the table. But yes, I will be. And I will be making sure that they are backed with small scraps of Deckable Heavy or Peltex. Okay, so I'm going to chain stitch so I don't have to cut my thread. So I got my other connector here, and I'm just going to do it at the same time. Lee says, happy birthday tomorrow, Anna. We'll be celebrating at our house too. My son and his family are coming for a visit. For the first time I get to see them since last September. Oh my goodness, that's going to be amazing. Erica has a Jack F4 too. Look at that. That's what's so great about this group. Now, Titans, I think the only ones that have Titans are myself, Dawn, and Nicole. I could be wrong. There might be more. My seam allowance here is 1/4 inch. As you can see, I cut really bad, but that's okay because I know I'm going to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance when I sew these on, and it'll get caught. It'll be fine. Oh, Dawn's is a Chicon. That's right. 1541, which is like the cousin to Juki and any 1541 machine. They're all the same. Somewhat the same. Okay. So when we get that done, what we're going to do is we are going to flip these wrong sides together. I'm going to finger press this seam best I can because I have vinyl, and I'm going to hold it with clips. Oh, cocoa beans. So again, these pieces just wrong sides together, and you want to press this seam really good with your fingers to get a nice curve. These, they are my new clips. What it is when I'm doing classes, and I have my, like I had all my foam basted to my main pieces. I'm like, where are all of my clips? Like I have, like I swear 300 or 400, but it's because I had them all tied up in the class. So yeah, I've got like bowls all over. I have a bowl of clips by each machine and at my table, so they're always there when I need them. Okay. So then once we have that all done and that seam nicely clipped into place, I'm going to top stitch at a 5.5, sorry, a few behind. What's the seam allowance? For these, the seam allowance is 1/4 inch, Karen. Now I'm going to top stitch along this curve, and I am going to baste around the sides. And that'll make it all one piece. Your computer is thinking. Said, and all these seam allowances are also written in the pattern if you need another reference. I forgot to check to make sure that my tension was good, but we are, so I'm okay. I usually always check my tension because on an industrial machine it gets thrown off so much, but we are still good from when I was working earlier, so. Okay, my needle down to pivot, and then just baste down the sides to keep everything together. I'm just basting with 1/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, Kathy. I made a few clips in the seam. Oh, yes, you could go ahead and make a few clips along the seam allowance, or you could use some pinking shears, and that would help make that curve nice. I tend to be okay to be doing it with just finger pressing, but the clips definitely do help. Just taking your scissors and doing a few clips in like so. If you, these ones won't do it, they're not sharp enough, or using pinking shears, you definitely could do that. Thank you, Lise. Okay, so that's one side panel done. And no, I'm actually going to keep it in my sewing bucket because we are going to, no, we'll keep it in the sewing bucket. Do the same with the other one. Oh, yes, Amy, you got a 1341. Do you want to see mine? Look at, this is Tiffany. And there's Tommy. I forgot that you bought one. I wasn't sure if you ended up going with the 13. Yeah, actually, I know you went with the 13. We were talking about it. Rodney is amazing, and he will be a great help for you with your 1341. And you always have me as well if you need it. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. And Amy, you will love your 1341. It's a great machine. You will love it for drop-in linings. You will love it for binding. You will love it for top stitching. It is awesome. It does it all. Okay. I should have checked my bobbin first. I think I'll be okay. Might have to change it out here soon though. Two pockets done. Okay, everybody let me know when you are there. Melissa, all right, I'm going to rewind a bit. I just got those 4 front and back connectors on, so I need to catch up. Okay, Melissa, have fun. We're just going to carry on because we only have half an hour left and a little ways to go. Okay, so everybody let me know when you're done with your side pockets, and then we will move to the side connectors. I'm going to check my bobbin while I'm here, actually. No, I think I'm okay still. Put that one through okay. There we go. Lisa's all set. Give everybody else another couple of minutes here. Okay, Karen's ready. Any questions? This seems to be the easier part when we actually get to do the sewing. I think I sometimes over-explain things, and I apologize for that. Dawn is ready. We know Kathy's ready. She's ahead of us. Rhonda's ready. Okay, so we're going to move on. So for this, we're going to attach our connectors. Now, what I like to do, Karen says every bag may be someone's first, so you can never over-explain. Okay, well, that's good. Okay, Kim says she'll catch up. So I'm going to do this in such a way because I don't want to backstitch here because then you end up getting that, I don't know, darker thread or whatever. So I'm going to show you. You can do that if you want to, but I'm going to show you my way. If you've done the class before, you know my way of doing this so we don't have that ugly backstitch. So I'm pulling my threads really long and I'm holding them back. So both my bobbin and my top thread. I am going to put my needle down at the bottom fold of this connector to start. Making sure to hold your threads. You don't want them to get caught. And we are going to not backstitch. We're going to top stitch down the bottom here. So I started about halfway on the bottom. Put your needle down, pivot to come up to that line that we drew across, that 1 inch line. When you get to that line, put your needle down and pivot. And this is where I like to pull this up. And you can see where our bobbin thread here is. You are going to tug on that bobbin thread and you're going to see a little loop come up. And you're going to kind of tug on that loop. And what that is doing is it's pulling our starting top thread through to the back. That is such a tongue twister. Like so. And we will be tying those off in the end. Okay, so once you have those out of the way, continue across that 1 inch line that we drew to the other side. Pivot. I can go a little bit further because we only want to be about 1/8 from each side. Go down the other side. You get to the bottom. Needle down and pivot. And now what we want to do is we want to make sure that our needle is going to end in our starting hole. So I actually usually just hand crank this. And when my needle's down, I kind of lift to see where my needle is. Okay, and I can see I'm really close. I'm actually going to do one more stitch here. And I'm going to put my needle down in that starting hole. And this is going to give us a nice seamless line. And then you're going to pull it out. And you can see here, we have no back stitching there. You're going to pull this out. Make sure you hold those 2 threads that you're pulling from the machine before you cut because you want to be very aware of which one you're pulling, okay? So you're going to take your bobbin thread that we're just holding on. You're going to pull it. You're going to see a loop come up and you're going to pull that loop. If I do this right, and it should be that top thread. Come on. You'll see it coming through, and then you know you got the right one. See? So we got those 4 threads pulled to the back, and you can see how along there we don't have that back stitch. You know how it kind of gets all nested up. And then you're going to take those 4 strands, and I like to tie it in 3 or 4 knots. Do you change your bobbin thread to match the green? No. You can, but I never do. I don't mind it being a contrast, but if you wanted to, you definitely could, and then it would match the green when you do the top stitching on the pockets. That's completely up to you. Okay, so after 3 or 4 knots, you cut it off, and if you're using a bonded thread like I am, I like to go ahead and just take a lighter and just melt it so I know it doesn't fray. Melts the foam a little bit. So then you get a knot in the back like that. But then you have a nice seamless line on the front. So go ahead and do that with your other one as well. I'm going to check my bobbin thread again because I know I'm very close to running out. I'm actually going to take it out now. Change my thread. So go ahead and do your other side. just going to check my tension because I've changed my bobbin. I can see that that bobbin's tension is a little bit different, so I got to loosen. Depending on how your bobbin winds, sometimes it's tighter than other times. That's why whenever I change my bobbin, I always check my tension and gauge to make sure it is good. So don't mind me while I do that. You're a smidgen looser. Especially on an industrial, I find that your tension gets thrown out so easy. So I'm constantly checking it. Okay, we're good now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other one, pulling my threads long and repeating. Oops, I forgot to do this. I better do it now. And then I'm going to hand crank until I can get my needle to go down in that starting hole. Like so. And how's everybody making out? Should I put the right one? I do. Ooh, that top stitch turned out perfect. Look how amazing that looks. It's perfect on both sides. Alrighty. Set that aside. And, oh, I love a great top stitch too. Whoops, all these came unfolded. So once you're ready, then we are going to do the hidden connectors. So let me know when you guys are ready to move on. We have about 20 minutes left, and I want to spend, it'll actually probably be about 10 to 15 minutes on the hidden connectors, and then the other connector is not too bad to explain, so that one will be a little bit faster. So let me know when you're ready. I just don't believe how fast the time goes. We're already an hour and 40 minutes in. Karen's ready. So these take a little bit more explanation. I'm hopeful that a lot of you have already watched my tutorial, so you'll understand what I'm doing when I do this. Karen says this is why she doesn't like to sew before work, lose track of time, then end up rushing. This is my job, so I sew all day, every day. So Okay, so I'm going to move on because we are running out of time. So for our connectors, so you'll have 4 connectors. I'm only doing the one panel, so you guys will do the other one for homework. So for the ones that we folded in, we're just going to go ahead and top stitch down each side of these with a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Again, I'm going to chain stitch mine just to save on thread. I can see my tension is still too tight, so I got to loosen a little bit more. And the other side. And then down the other side of that. So we have our 2 connectors. And then once you're done that, you are going to want to put on your zipper foot. For doing this, I prefer to use, if you have a choice, my right zipper foot. So that's where the zipper foot is, or sorry, my left zipper foot. Is that right? Yeah. Because we're going to want to get really nice and close to the hardware here. So I'm just going to change out to my zipper foot. If you have a zipper foot, do the same thing. If you don't, you're just going to have to be really careful and have something to put over top of your hardware so it doesn't get scratched up from the foot walking on it. So, okay, so everybody let me know when you're ready, because this part is going to take a little explaining. Okay, so Kim's ready, Dawn's ready. So this is only for the people that are doing the hidden connectors. I don't know how many are actually doing them. I think many are doing the other style connector. So other style connector is a little bit easier. So I'll give it another minute and then we will move ahead. I actually am thinking I might want to move you down so you can see a little bit better for this. Sorry for the moving of the camera. Okay, is that good? Can everybody see there? Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to take your connector. You're going to watch how they're done for the next time, these. Okay, I do have a tutorial on how to do these too if you need to see it again at a different angle where things are a little closer. So you're going to have your connector wrong side up. You're going to put it in the 1-inch cut hole that we did here. Oh, Benny's moving the camera again. And you want to pull it, get it in there. Okay. And it should be tight. We want it to be tight, okay? And you want to pull it about halfway, like so. So you can see how I'm halfway through the back and I have half up top here, okay? Now you can see where our slit is right here. We do not want to sew along there. We want to sew just above that slit right here. And you don't want to go past the connector. You want to stay within the connector. So where the slit is here, you're not going to sew that. You're going to sew just above it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm taking my zipper foot and I'm putting it right along that slit just to make sure I don't go over it. Putting it to a stitch length 4. And back stitching. And again, you don't want to go over the connector because you don't want those stitches to show on the other side. I'll show you what I mean here. Pull it away. Okay, so you can see how my stitches don't go past the edges. So my slit is still open here, and we've just sewn just above it, not going past the connector, but you can see how it is secured onto the back of the vinyl, which is what we want. And this is why we take away the foam too, because you may have a raw edge here and you don't want that foam showing, and it just helps with the bulk here. Okay? Everybody got that? So then the next step is you are going to take your rectangular ring, you're going to put it over the connector, then you're going to take this side of the connector and you're going to stick it through that slit, like so. And when you pull it through, if it goes really nice, again, it should be tight. My vinyl tends to, when you pull it, see how it pulls nice and tight? And it makes a little fold here that tucks that raw edge in and underneath. Now, it doesn't always do that. If it doesn't, it's okay. It's vinyl. It's not going to be seen. And then what we're going to do is we are going to top stitch along, right along this fold here, as close as we can to that fold, which is why I put on my zipper foot. So here you can pull it through to the back so you don't have that top stitch thing, but I want to make sure it's nice and secure with my with some back stitching here because it is a connector. So I'm just going to sew across about 1 inch and back stitch. And it doesn't look that bad. I'm going to melt my ends a little bit here, and that's what it looks like. So just like that. Melissa, I will help you with that after we do this, just because we're running out of time and I got to get this done. I did my connectors a little different. I cut them 2 inches by 5 inches for each connector. Okay, so we're going to rinse and repeat with the other side. So again, I'm going to stick it through. That's why, Melissa, in the cutting, we did them 2 inches by 5 inches for that reason, and that was my modification to get past that issue of them being too small, using 1 inch. If you're using a 3/4 inch D-ring, you will want to cut them 1.5 inches by 5 inches. Okay, so I've pulled it about halfway through. And again, I'm going to go ahead and stitch it right across above that opening. Without going over the connector. So yeah, Melissa, if you go back to the cutting video, I explain why I do that and why it's that size. Okay, take your D-ring and stick it in through that hole. Again, it should be tight. I love doing hidden connectors this way. I will sometimes even do them on the side of a bag. You can see how it folds over nicely. Again, if it doesn't and that raw edge is showing, that's okay too. Okay, and go ahead and touch really nice and close to that fold. And go across, back stitch, across, back stitch, across. All right, so you can see, aren't they gorgeous? So those are done. They're nice and secured here, nice and secured here. And when we go back to table, I will tell you how we will secure it even further with rivets. Okay, onto those doing the other kind of connector. So again, you are going to want to, unless you're doing rivets above and below, but this one, because we have such a small fold, I'm actually going to go right up against my hardware. So you can do what you feel best here. I am actually going to pull my threads long, and I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I am going to top stitch all the way around this edge, get nice and close to the hardware and go across. That's why we're using the left-handed zipper foot all the way across here, down, and again, pull my threads long and tie them off in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you're doing a regular connector, you would do the exact same thing, just follow the shape of your connector. So again, I'm not back stitching. I just pulled my threads long, and I'm just going to go 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And you are going to see how nicely oiled my machine is right now, because all my oil is showing. So this is where this left-sided zipper foot comes really nice, because watch how close I can get to that connector, because it'll go right beside it and it won't eat up my vinyl or anything. But I am going to protect my hardware here, because it is going to go over just with this little scrap here under my walking foot. And I am probably going to need my hump jumper a little bit on the front here, because it's up on my hardware. Just for a couple stitches, and then continue around. Again, you want this to look good, because this will show. Just lift this up a little more so I can get my protection here. Okay, so before I get too far, I'm going to pull my bobbin thread to bring my top thread through. And finish it off. And I'm going to hand crank so I can come and make sure my needle is going to be going exactly where I want it to. Right there. Pull my threads long. Pull my top thread through. And then you can see, oops, still there. We have a really nice seamless line with no back stitch. Tie them off with 3 or 4 knots. And if you're using a bonded thread, make sure you burn the edges. And we'll go back to the table and I will tell you what is for homework. Any questions about that, or is everybody good? See, it looks kind of happy on the back side of this pink. Look, it's a pink smile. Oh, Benny's moving the camera again. Okay. Oops, Ben, move. Hello. Okay. Do I look tired? It's, oh, look at my floor. Isn't that terrible? That's only from this week's worth of work too. It's just, I only vacuum it once a week because it's thread and carpet, and what can you do? Whoops. All right. Okay, let's get you guys. I'm actually going to move you guys up to the claw hand because I'm moving you out of this one to the one I actually do the tutorials on now. So you get a close-up of my chin. I apologize. Okay, but this is just much better. Okay, so we have our smiley face connector on. If you are doing the smiley face connector, I'm going to bring you down here. Okay. So you are going to want to put a rivet, if you can. So you want to make sure you caught everything I did. I'm going to put a rivet right here and right here. Do you see that? Just below the stitch line, I'm going to put a rivet there, and I'm going to make sure that I back it with some Decovil heavy on the post before I put the cap on. So that'll be homework for these. Make sure you do the other panel the same way. So that'll be homework, is to do your other panel exactly like this. Isn't that pretty? This is just cotton too. Like, it's just so pretty. For this one, same thing. Now you want to think about decorative wise. I know I'm definitely going to put, you can't see that one. I'm definitely going to put one nice and close there. And I'm going to think about putting another one in. But I think just one is going to be fine. And it's going to go through all the layers. So I will be a rivet there. If you're doing rivets, and a rivet there. I strongly recommend the rivets. So nice and center. You can't really see it on that one. Nice and center underneath that line of stitching. So that will be homework as well as doing the back panel. Now, also for your main panels, for where you want to put your nameplate, you can put your nameplate wherever you want. Just remember we have like a 1/2 inch seam allowance here. I don't know if I might be putting my nameplate on the bottom. I haven't decided yet. I don't know where I want to place my name tape, but usually I either will do it in between the connectors or a little bit up from the bottom. So you can place your nameplate wherever you want to on your front panels. It's really, you can even place it over to the right. You're just going to have to picture what it looks like when it's all done. Another thing you could do is once we have the exterior completely put together, we can always install the nameplates there so we know where they're going. So that is up to you if you want to install your nameplates now or later. So homework, you're going to do your front, your back panels the exact same way we did these ones. You're going to install your rivets if you are installing your rivets. Okay. For our side panels, we are going to install a rivet right here and right in the middle of our rectangle right there. Again, it's completely up to you where you want to install one. I would definitely recommend installing one there just to give it a little more stability, backing it with a scrap of Decovil heavy on the back. So you will be doing that on both of these for homework. Okay. And that is all you will have for homework. So do your other two panels, do your rivets, and that is good. Does that work for everybody? It's not too much homework, right? It's just doing what we did today to create the other two panels. I will not be showing this one again because over the next week, I'm going to be doing the tutorial for this one, but hopefully by next class, I will have this one completed. So I will have a demo bag to show you the parts that we are working on. Is there any questions before we go? Yeah. Said you can do rivets, you can do Chicago screws, whatever you like. It's good. Was this I'm just loving this one. It's going to be so nice. So next class, the first half of the class will be finishing this off. We will be attaching our pockets onto our sides at the beginning of the class and then putting it all together for the exterior. And then the second half of the class, we will be working on the lining. And then the fourth class, we will be putting on the top zipper. and putting it all together. The top zipper is going to be the hardest part of making this bag. This bag is easy peasy. Otherwise, the top one, just good. So I don't think that's too much homework. Just recreating these 2 panels and doing your rivets on everything. Okay? Yay! Great class, everybody. If you have any questions, know you can always message me on Facebook. Remember to join, if you're on Facebook, the Bag Makers group, the Annette Sew Along subgroup. Join in there. Show me your progress. Ask questions there to your peers. Shoot me an email if you have questions, or a Facebook message, and I can help you along during the week. All right? Okay, so I'm going to go and find out where I know where my husband is. He's picking up pizza because it's his turn to cook on Thursdays when I have classes, so we tend to get takeout. So I'm so happy all of you joined us today. I hope our newbies there enjoyed the class as well. It's so much fun. I love it. Again, everybody, I am here for you throughout the week, and we will see you next week. We're halfway through. How is that possible already? Time flies. Thank you so much for sewing along with me today, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.